What's up, Internet? My name's Ori. It is Tuesday, September 9th, day number 64 inside the Big Brother house. Vibes are tense, both inside and outside of the house, but there is still a game to be played, despite it feeling more and more personal. Veto meeting was yesterday, and the aftermath causes people to threaten jury votes as well as a potential flip on the vote. Plus, Morgan and Vince, everyone, let's put the rumors to rest. They're just friends, guys. They're just friends. Let's talk about that, plus all the intel drama and more from yesterday's live feeds. But first, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button if you like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video, you'll never miss a stream. Speaking of, we do have an episode tonight. Should be a pretty big one. We're going to see the White Locust and all of that take place with the chain of safety competition, which leads to the elimination of Rachel. So we're probably going to have a watch party here on the channel. So if you're around, come on out. The watch parties are always a lot of fun. But to give you guys a little bit of a recap, if you haven't been keeping up with everything going on, after Mickey was evicted 6-1 and we had the start of jury, that led us to the White Locust Resort, which was opened up, leading to a series of events where Rachel was eliminated from the game and Lauren ended up as the new HOH. Lauren then went on to nominate Ashley, Morgan, and Will. And yes, 3 nominees as Blockbuster is still in play. Morgan then goes on to win the power of veto in the BB Blockbuster competition, and Lauren looked at nominating Keanu as the potential replacement nominee. Now, that takes us to yesterday, which was the veto meeting, and it is exactly how it went down. Morgan did use the power of veto on herself, and Keanu was put up as the replacement nominee. Now, a couple of things that we had different conversations that were going on. Vince and Lauren actually kind of met up, and he made sure to promise Lauren. He said, listen, I promise you, if there is a final 3 of you, Lauren, me, and Morgan, I will take you, Lauren. I promise you, I will take you to the final 2 over Morgan. If I win that final HOH, it'll be you and me sitting at the end, and I'll just explain it all in my finale speech. Now, what was interesting, though, was Vince was having this one-on-one with Lauren, and Morgan actually yelled up. She was like, Vince, come on down here, Vince. I need you to take out the trash. He went and did the trash. He went and was looking for food in the storage room. Very much like a significant other might do. Now, Morgan was also just in general very upset with Vince for all of the time that he's been spending with Lauren. And Vince was pretty much having to apologize to Morgan pretty much all day. She was griping to everybody about it, about how much time he spends with her. And she's just pretty much a jealous friend. A jealous friend. They're just friends. But she's very jealous. And Vince pretty much told her, he's like, listen, I don't want you to think that just because I'm good with her, right? Like, as in Lauren, that it's like me turning my back on you. And Morgan's like, it's just hurtful. Just hurtful, Vince. And Vince is like, look, I don't want anything to hurt you, right? Like, I don't want anything that I do to hurt you. And Morgan's like, it's just that, after everything that happened, I was safe. I'm safe with the veto now. And, it's like after all this, it would be like if I was going and hanging out with Keanu after I saved you last week, right? It just feels so hurtful, Vince. It's so hurtful. She put me on the block. She put me on the block. Keanu put you on the block. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that Ava put you on the block. But you seem to forget that she put me on the block. This was so dramatic. And it's a thing. Vince is like holding her hand. He's like caressing her. I'm so sorry, Morgan. Sorry. But they're friends. They're just friends, guys. Because even after this conversation, Morgan's alone and she's just kind of wondering to herself really more than it being like a camera talk where she's actually talking to the cameras. She's just kind of sitting there wondering why the diary room keeps asking her about her relationship with Vince. Like she really doesn't know why they would want to know so much about her relationship with Vince because they're just friends. They're just friends, guys. They're just friends. Now we also ended up getting Keanu, who was going around pretty much saying that Lauren has lost his jury vote with this renom that she has made, and he would not vote for her to win in the end. And he also has a very fiery conversation with Vince where he says like he wants to be the one to take Lauren out now. He then later went and had a conversation with Lauren where he just spent the whole time really going in on her about, how bad of a decision this was and that he was never, working against her. He was always working with her. He's not mad at her personally, but he's just so disappointed. And everybody knows when somebody says that to you, that's the worst thing is when they're disappointed. Uh, Now we also ended up having him go and talking to Kelly and Ashley, and he told both of them that he would end up putting Lauren, Morgan, and Vince up on the block because he would give them something really to cry about. Now, Ashley and Keanu, they actually have a little bit of a deal they've been working out, right? They've kind of agreed to work together, kind of what Rachel would have wanted. They both are saying, like, I wish you would have just listened to Rachel, Keanu. And we also had Keanu kind of working on Morgan just a little bit, trying to get her on the anti-Lauren train. But again, doesn't have to work very hard with that. Morgan already does not like Lauren at all that much. And we also ended up getting a little bit of talk with Morgan and Keanu talking about how Kelly is getting really close to Lauren and Ava. And that's something that they kind of have to worry about is that trio. And like I said, that just in yesterday's update, those three, Lauren, Kelly, and Ava, they've really become a little bit of a power trio here that is a little bit visible. Like people are aware of it, but those three could be a bit of a voting block here to see how that kind of plays out moving forward. And they talk about this as well as Morgan and Keanu. They also have a conversation talking about Morgan's doubts about Vince and everything that's going on with that. And Morgan goes on again to tell Keanu's like, Lauren voted me out, like she put me on the block. I was her target. And I'm just kind of like, Vinny, I'm your number one. Like that should say something, shouldn't it? And like Keanu's like, you literally picked the most passive guy. And Keanu says, like, listen, obviously, I want to stay this week. And I think the more important thing is that you and I can work together and we could take Lauren out of this game. And if we do that, it solves a lot of problems, right? Because I get my person back and you get your person back, i.e., Keanu gets Kelly back, who's getting really close to Lauren, and Morgan gets Vince back, who's become really close with Lauren. So they've kind of worked that out a little bit. But meanwhile, what we've already also been having happen is a little bit of a conversation on whether or not Will should be kept even over Ashley. We had Kelly and Ava having a little bit of a discussion about this. And they say, do we keep Will? And Ava says that she thinks that makes the most sense is to keep Will. And they agree. And they just say that they really have to know, like, what's going on here and keep this all together. Like, the three of us really have to stick together and just know that the information we give to each other, it stays in the vault. We're going to stay true to each other. And the one thing they worry about, though, is there is a chance that Morgan, Vince, and Ashley would all vote together and actually vote to keep Keanu over Will. And then you would also have a very similar situation where it could end up being Morgan, Vince, and Keanu who would all vote together to keep Ashley over keep Ashley over Will. So it could be a situation where Ashley and Keanu could join up with Morgan and Vince, keep Will, and Kelly, Ava, and Lauren are all a little bit worried about that right now, where that's where it could end up happening that way. Like I said, that is all coming from Keanu kind of having a little bit of a conversation with Ashley where they were talking about, like, listen, like, Ashley, like, if it comes down to it, I'd probably keep you over Will. And I think that we should all really work together. So it's an interesting little scenario that's kind of happening here. Ava doubts this will all take place, right? Like, she just doesn't see Ashley keeping Keanu over Will. And I'll be honest, too, I don't either. But it is a thing that I was thinking about would make a lot of sense for Ashley because Will does have those connections with Ava. It's just the fact that she's not really fully aware of how close Ava and Will are. and I believe actually thinks that Will would always choose her over Ava, but that is not actually the case. We also had Ava telling Kelly and Lauren that she wants them, to stick together. Like I said, the three of them want to be a thing. And Kelly actually has a name for them. She has a name for the three of them, and that is Flower Power. So now they have officially got a name for themselves. And like I said, there was a bunch of other late night chats as well, including Morgan telling Vince that he should let Keanu know about what Kelly was saying about ratting him out about what his potential nominees would be moving forward. So there was a lot of different things kind of going on. But for the most part, it's just the same old repeated stories over and over again. And it's been a little much. It's a little much. Honestly, it's one of those things where we're in the final eight. And this is sometimes where it can start to feel a little bit slow and boring, is kind of where that like final 10, final 9. And we hadn't really had that issue until everything happened at final 9, where now Rachel is gone. And it does feel like a little bit of the air has been let out of the balloon, and it's a little bit sad to see. But also, one of the things that's interesting is this is supposed to be the month of mayhem, and I was really expecting this to be a super fast paced game. We were going to kind of rush to the end, and it was going to be really exciting. But actually, it almost feels like we're in a position where it almost feels like a final 4 scenario or a final 3 scenario, where people are sitting around waiting for the competitions to happen now, because they know that really at this point the social game and the votes really don't matter as much as they used to. And listen, I have my own thoughts on, all that, and I know there's a lot of other people who have their thoughts on that. I think mine aligns with some people, but also for different reasons. I'm one who's pushed back against the Blockbuster even from the beginning. From the very beginning, I always said, I don't know how I feel about this twist. Yeah, it's fun that Tucker is winning the AI arenas, but it just didn't feel like it was something that was overall going to be good for Big Brother. And I think it does have its pros. For example, it does seem to kind of discourage the large alliances, because you need so many options to go up on the block, especially early in the game. But what it ends up doing is it pushes these bad social players a little bit further in the game, just because they're able to win competitions. So I don't know how I really feel about all that. Also, we'll see how all of this takes place with Rachel. And I don't love the idea that you would get eliminated from the game of Big Brother without some sort of vote, without some sort of nomination process, without an HOH and a veto competition that went along with that. If you look at every elimination that happened this season, there was an HOH, a veto, and a Blockbuster competition, plus a whole week where they were able to cook and kind of get their standing together. This wasn't even like a double eviction, where at least you have the HOH and the veto competition, and then a little bit of time to maybe try and make that last minute scramble. This was just kind of like, boom, we're there, we're done, and then we're moving on. And I still feel like at the end of the day, a vote is kind of the biggest thing for me. If it had come down with this competition where 2 people were there, it was Rachel and somebody else, and then Rachel was voted out by everybody else, all right, that's fine. I can see that being a thing. But to me, that was the biggest issue, is that there's no vote, and it does kind of change exactly what kind of game we're playing here, right? Survivor has done different, challenges where, the last person out was actually eliminated. They've done stuff with the tribals, and they've switched that up as well. This does feel a little bit more like something out of the challenge, where, you lose a competition and then you leave and there's no real vote. You're voting people into a competition, so it's all a little bit different. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Let's see what the episode's like tonight before we can make really a full judgment. I'm not a huge fan of the twist, but also that's just Big Brother. There's always twists. I see a lot of people really upset that it's actually Rachel who is the one this was done to, and that if it was other people, they wouldn't care as much. And even being proud of the fact that they're like, no, if it was Kelly, I wouldn't care. And that's exactly the point. Rachel is the one who got screwed here. Well, I think, it's one of those things where Rachel, if you really look at it, 15 years ago, she played a game of Big Brother and she ended up winning. But also 15 years ago, I think there was a woman who played a really good game of Big Brother, a really brutal game of Big Brother, one that was vicious and hard fought, and she ended up going and slaying multiple veterans in a season. Multiple veterans were eliminated by her hand. And you know what? She ended up losing to a veteran because of the twist. Yeah, Portia's probably saying, Rachel, I don't care that you got taken out by a twist. Because at the end of the day, Rachel only won her season because of a twist, right? So it's one of those things where I get it, expect the unexpected. Twists happen, people get screwed out in this game so many times. A big part of Big Brother is the luck. But again, it does feel a little bit sour, just that little bit weird that there wasn't at least a vote, right? Twists are one thing, but this was really more of what reindeer games was. And I wasn't a big fan of reindeer games either, because it's just not Big Brother. It wasn't the same. It wasn't, why I come back season after season for this weird, silly show that I love, right? So we'll see how it all plays out. But let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. We can also, I guess, I don't even know if we even took a look at our allegiance chart here to kind of take a look at how things are. Not too much has changed. I still kind of see the house very similarly, but there could be a little bit of a movement there with Will maybe taking a dip further, Ashley taking a little bit of a rise up there, and potentially we could see a situation where Ava and Kelly are the only ones voting to keep Will, and maybe Morgan, Keanu, and Ashley are all going to kind of join up with Vince, and the four of them would be a voting block this week to get out Will. But again, I don't know if I 100% see that happening, especially on the Ashley end. I think it's a little bit more likely with Keanu, Morgan, and Vince, because they could see that as being an opportunity for them. But other than that, I just don't know if I could see Ashley voting Will out this week. I think that's the one where you kind of lose me and it's a little bit of a stretch. But what do you guys think? What do you think of Lauren's nominee being Keanu? What do you think of the options as we head on into the Blockbuster here with Will, Ashley, and Keanu? Who would you like to see to win the Blockbuster? Who do you think will be eliminated on Thursday's eviction? Let me know in those comments down below. Thank you guys all again so much for watching, each and every one of you. It's just so amazing how much love and support you've shown me here on this channel. It has just been amazing. We are on our way to 20K. I think we should hit it by the end of the season here, just in time for it. But if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, after all that rambling, smash that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Like I said, there is a big episode tonight. We have an episode tomorrow, and on Thursday, we'll probably have a watch party for each one of those. So if you haven't come on out to one of the watch parties, they're a lot of fun. Make sure you come check them out. I also think I might start doing some of these updates live in the morning. I saw a lot of your comments, a lot of people asking about potentially uploading the videos like edited after the fact. That's possibly something I could do as well, where we'll have the stream and then afterwards maybe I upload it. I don't know. I'll see, because I don't know how that's going to affect some of the numbers and how the YouTube algorithm works and things like that. So it might be like pretty delayed when that would get uploaded as a secondary video. But one of the great things about the live streams, right, is just because you are tuning into the live stream at any point, you can always go to the beginning of the live stream, just catch the update, which will always be at the beginning of the stream. There will be a nice condensed update of everything that happened on the night before, and then we jump into the chat and we start talking about everything. So it's one of those things where just because you're not into the actual live stream and getting involved with the chat doesn't mean you would have to miss out on the actual update itself, because I'll always do that as a nice condensed thing in the beginning of the stream, where we kind of ignore the chat and then we jump into it afterwards. So continuing to kind of spin that idea, and we'll see how that all plays out. But thank you guys all again so much for the love. Check out all the links to my socials, pin comment, description down below. You can check out things like the Twitter and Discord. Discord's been a lot of fun. There's a link in the description. You click the Discord, you can join the server that we're in. I saw people asking about how to join Discord. You can do it on your phone, your web browser. There's an app on the computer. However you want to do it, it's all about just joining that server. And then once you're in there, you can chat with us in all the different channels about the different topics we have in there, whether it's Big Brother, Survivor, other reality shows, posting pictures of your pets or what you're cooking up in the kitchen. Join us over in the Discord. It's a lot of fun. Thank you guys all again so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
We watching this, guys? All right, ready? Here's a go.
Yeah.
First one.
Easy.
Yeah, easy, huh?
Slap my tongue. Aha! So not so easy. Okay, now I'm catching it. Here we go.
Look at him.
Yeah.
So 0-0.